Stop offering card readings. 4 words, crystal clear, drop in as I'm just living my best life, walking the beach. I wasn't thinking about card readings. It came out of nowhere, but it was so clear. Stop offering card readings. Clear, intuitive navigation. Now, if you've been hanging out with me and the Be Her community, you've heard me reference this story before because it's actually from a couple of years ago. But just you wait, there's a new edge to this story that I'm going to share today here in the Be Her podcast. So if you are tuning back in again, then we are at the next story and step in our intuitively inspired lives together. Last week, I spoke about adding curiosity and creativity when your intuition is saying, hey, go that way. And you're like, but hold on a minute, I was planning on going a completely different way. And today, I want to talk about when your intuition is telling you to go away, say, do this or stop doing this. And not only does it not make any sense, it's something that you would have never thought that you would have done, and it's brand new. Brand new. There's your clue, my friends, brand new. Intuition is always telling you the truth, always navigating you towards your higher elevated, amplified version of you, which means it's going to be new. And new, you, is a new identity. So this is what we're getting into today. How does your intuition play with you and co-create with you when you are either shifting in identity, amplifying, or upgrading? That's what this is about. So settle in, my friends, and let's go to the intuitive playground with that moment, which I believe is about 2 years ago. I know it was 2024. I don't remember the month. I don't really remember what was happening. But I do remember in 2024, I was doing what I do a lot of, which is think about what can I create? How can I reach the women? How can we do more as women of the world with our intuitive wisdom, with our leadership? Like this has been on my mind since 2020 when I picked up the baton and said, okay, I'm going to go in as an online entrepreneur, as a spiritual teacher. Like this takes up a lot of my headspace. So I imagine that's what I was thinking of when I'm walking the beach. I actually can't remember what I was thinking of. I remember the exact scene. I could take you to the exact spot on the beach where it happened because it was like a lightning bolt came through. Stop offering card readings. I was like, what? Undeniable navigation. How could you interpret that any other way other than my intuition saying, hey, that thing you're doing, stop doing that now. Now, I'm going to tell you at the end, what did I actually do next? It's got a lot to do with curiosity and creativity and something special for you. But we'll leave that to the end because I want to get right into the relationship between your intuition and your identity. So if we see me walking the beach in 2024, I was not the founder of the Be Her Collective. I was all about Big Life Magic. This was my business before, and Big Life Magic was working with women in reminding them just how freaking magical they are. And we were doing a lot with cards and the moon and connecting around intuition and chakras. And we went all around the magic realm. That was Big Life Magic. And in 2024, particularly the second half of 2024, I could really feel in me a desire to shift towards a different focus or a different intensity. You know, when you have that fear, that rumbling on the inside, but you don't know what it's pointing you towards. You don't really know what to do. You know, you just want some things to shake up and change. Anyone? Then yeah, that's That's a pre-beat to an identity shift. Not everyone's going to feel it, but I definitely felt it. And what I was focused on was what needs to change in my business or what I'm doing. I wasn't really focused on what needs to change within me. There's another clue. When we're looking for change, we can often look to what needs to change on the outside, not what am I changing on the inside. Because your insides is all identity. It's how you create you. It's connected to your values, your truth, your integrity. Integrity is you. Your truth is you. Value is you. It's all unique to you. And they're building blocks of your identity. And we're shifting identity often in a full life. Maybe not some of the core identities, like I will always be a Driscoll. That's an identity that I have, a way I identify. I am a member of the Driscoll clan. That doesn't change. But my identity was being triggered back in 2024. Stop offering card readings. Because at the time, it didn't make any sense to me. Why would I stop doing something that I love, that I'm really good at, that is a revenue stream for my business? Why would I do that? Why would intuition send me that way in the navigation when it's not something that I really want to do? It doesn't make any sense. The reason why is because my intuition was navigating me towards an identity upgrade. This is what I can see with my Magic 2020 vision. I did not see this in 2024, my friends. I did not. But I can see it now as the founder of the Be Her Collective because I've got a completely different identity. And the first shift in that identity was this navigation to stop offering card readings, which is the first building block in identity transformation, which is disruption. So if you didn't know, let me tell you so you know. When we're building a new identity, we build it block by block. This is some of the work that I do with the Be Her leaders who I work with, definitely a part of the Be Her journey in the third phase, the Be Her phase. An identity is something that is yours, and it's also something that is created by you. And in 2024, I wanted something different that was no longer aligned with the identity, vibration, and frequency that I had. So let me break that down. What does that actually mean, Deb? What you talking about, Deb? For me, offering card readings was really safe. I've been literally doing it for years. I've been reading cards since I was 19. I know when I do a card reading that my intuition is always clear and on point, that I'm getting amazing navigation for the woman who I am reading for and what is unfolding in all of the readings. Absolute guaranteed clear magic, which means for me, it was also something really safe to offer. There was no risk involved at all. I didn't have to elevate or upgrade me in any way. And that's what I now see. My intuition was saying, okay, we're going to help you out here, Deb D, because you are dreaming of expansion of what you do in the world and the impact that you want to make in the world, but you are securely staying exactly where you are, where it's safe. So intuition came in and said, we're helping you out and we're going to disrupt, which is the first building block. You disrupt the old identity. Okay, so if I'm not the woman who offers card readings, who am I? And that's what happened next for me. It wasn't immediate. It took some creativity and curiosity to play with it. But what happened next is I realized, oh, the card readings are amazing, and I have a desire to go deeper with women, more than a card reading. What's possible if I had more time to work with a woman? What's also possible for me if I don't see myself as a card reader anymore? If I'm not a card reader, who am I? That was the navigation that started to point me towards leadership. And when I started to navigate in that way, I want deeper engagements with women. I want to honor the leader in me who is really itching to come out to play. And what that led to is back in the Big Life Magic days is when I started to offer the one-on-one leadership work that I now do in the Be Her Collective. In its original manifestation, it was elite energetic alignment. And I had a handful of women who helped me build that offer. I started with a beta offer by the end of 2024. So this is a couple of months later because I'm listening to my intuition and the navigation. I was like, yeah, I'm going to start offering some leadership work because I think I can really help some women with big missions and visions just like me. And what that meant was beyond the disruption, I started to build new ways of being. Because essentially there's 7 building blocks in identity. It starts with disruption and it ends with embodiment. And in there, you've got a little bit of truth telling, you've got some declaration, you've got some aligned action. There's various blocks. But essentially, when you're building a new identity, you disrupt the old one, and then piece by piece, you witness self, you understand the truth, you make a declaration, you start to align what you're doing on the inside with what's happening on the outside, you take some aligned actions, and then you shift to embodiment. And at the end of 2024, I was no longer always available for card readings, but I was now in this dynamic new work for me, which was working with leaders. And I was pleasantly delighted and surprised by how much joy, but also how much engagement inside the working parts of me I got out of doing this work. Because a part of my old identity was I work with groups of women. That's why I have a community. And I'm really good at card readings. And I'll offer some masterclasses because I love teaching. That's where I was. And that's where I needed to be for a handful of years. I started Big Life Magic in 2020. This is midway through 2024. So that was my identity for a handful of years. But like all of us, our stories evolve and change. So when intuition tells me clearly, stop offering card readings, it actually wasn't about the card readings. It was about where the card readings were keeping me. And the intuition was navigating me towards something new, a new identity that could match the desire that I now had. Because I remember back in 2024, like, having, the hand on heart moments. I was like, how can I be most effective in the world? Because we could all see it from 2020 all the way through. We've seen the world shifting and changing, right? And I felt it in me in 2024, starting to really kind of bubble up. It was also my first year of my 50s. So, hey, everybody who's 50 and beyond, 50s are fabulous. I'm only at 52 and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen next. But I think it's also this kind of emergence of the new phases for women when we move through certain parts of our lives, whether it's a business or a career that we've had, or the children are now leaving home, or we've left the marriage, or we've changed how we actually treat our bodies and shifted into wellness. There's lots of different ways that women can change, but we feel this change not only in what are we going to do, but what does what we do mean for the world, mean for me and my family. And for me, I had this clear moment where I knew I wanted to have really big impact. And that hand on heart moment told me one way you can do this, Deb, is by supporting the other women in the world who also, like you, want to have big impact in the world. They are in leadership. They are stepping forward and saying, this is the change I want to see, and this is how I'm going to create it. Or this is the impact, and this is what I'm about. And so when I started to shift towards working with the leaders, particularly through the beta, so during the beta when it was 4 women who I invited to work with me for, initially it was a 3-month period, 4 women for 3 months. And I was like, I'm going to start working this energetic work. I'm going to start working this identity work with you. And I want to see what happens next. And what I found inside that is these building blocks of identity, how identity connects to our intuition, and also a whole new purpose for me in bringing myself forward and saying, I am a leader who works with leaders because we are the women who are here to have big impact and make change. Now, that is very different to the Deborah walking the beach in 2024, who was very comfortable inside Big Life Magic community at the time, the Magic Makers. There's so much love there. I will always have love for the Magic Makers. So much love there, so much connection. Absolute joy when I was doing the card readings. I had opportunity to teach. Everything was good. And I wanted more, which meant it was time for an identity upgrade. So let's bring this down to you and sitting in your lap. Are you jiggy with the identity that you're currently at? And if you are, great. Expand inside that identity. Or are you itching for an upgrade? Is there something in your life that you want to reach towards? You may already identify as a particular type of leader or a woman who does this. It doesn't mean everything has to change. But do you feel sitting in your lap right now that you want more? You're ready to go for it. These are all the pre-beats to an identity upgrade. And this is where your intuition is going to step in to help you, because we need the disruption. And your intuition is going to tell you clearly, maybe not walking the beach in 4 words like I got. But your intuition is going to tell you clearly what you either need to start doing or stop doing. Because if you want more, if you want an upgrade energetically and in your intuition and in your identity and in the way you know yourself and what you're doing in the world, you're going to have to get uncomfortable and be at that first step, which is disruption. So if you have an honest moment with yourself right now, has your intuition been telling you to either start or stop something? Because here it is. Here is why intuition is a part of identity building. Because your intuition has the capacity to bring to you new information, new information, which leads towards new identity. Because when I'm walking that beach in 2024, I was not thinking, hey, I could work with leaders. That would really, really amplify my impact. Because when I start working with those leaders and they energetically upgrade and they get these new identities and then they just freaking go for it, then that creates a ripple effect. Imagine if I worked with lots of amazing leaders around the world, all of the ripple. I was not thinking that. I needed some new navigation. And maybe the disruption isn't the destination. Maybe it's just a thing you need to either start or stop doing, just to start moving in a new way, to get the disruption unlodged, unleashed. So I want to challenge you to ask yourself, what has intuition been telling me to either start or stop? It doesn't mean you have to start or stop it straight away, but what's possible for you if you see that as intuitive navigation towards an upgrade? Because when it's kind of like put on the plate as an upgrade, you're like, oh, well, I could talk about that now. I'm here for the upgrade, right? Because that was a part of what happened for me. So let me go now to the next part of the story. This is where we're going to end, and this is where there's something in it for you. So I didn't immediately stop offering card readings because I was actually a little bit confused at first, and also I'm stubborn and petulant. I didn't want to stop something that I loved. But I don't say no to my intuition. I always pause, and if it's not clear why or what this is going to mean, I add creativity and curiosity, just like I was sharing in last week's episode. So I added the curiosity. I added the creativity. I explored what would it mean. And it took me a few beats because first, I will admit, I went into logical. What is this going to mean for my revenue? What is this going to mean for like what I'm actually doing? That's what started to point me towards the leadership work. Well, once I started to dig into it and realize that this is directing me towards stepping out of safety and into a new playground, once I got that, what I did next is I said, all right, higher I am me and divine universe, I see you, I hear you. You're saying stop offering card readings. I get it. You want me to stop playing small. You want me to shift out of safety. All right, I'll do it. I will offer a beta round of elite energetic alignment. I'm going to do it. And I'm keeping card readings. This is what I said to the universe. I said, I will upgrade because I know that's in my highest good. I am going to start working with this leadership work. I'm doing the damn thing. And I absolutely love card readings, intuitive card readings. Been doing it for over 30 years. I know it so well. It's like, it's when I get into flow. You know, when people talk about flow, I don't even need to try when I'm doing a card reading. I am in flow. So I said to me, higher I am me, the divine universe, everyone here who's helping me co-create the seen and the unseen, I said, here's the deal. I'm going for the upgrade and I'm going to keep card readings as special offerings. So since 2024, card readings has been a special offer. Every now and then I say, hey, everybody, I'm offering card readings for this month or for this reason. And then I get to play for a bit. And then it goes back onto the shelf waiting for the next opportunity to play. So this is also, I'm going to invite you again, creativity and curiosity. You really want them in your intuitive playground because it opens up and expands. So I could follow the navigation and not give up something that I love. And this is where it gets really good for you. So we are in the month of July 2026 if you are listening to this in real time, which means we are at the anniversary of the Be Her Collective. On the 2nd of July 2025, the Be Her Collective got its official LLC registered status, official paperwork signed, done. And on the 10th of July, we had our first launch event. So July is the birthday, anniversary. We did it for another year, month for the Be Her Collective. And this July, July 2026, is our first anniversary. Always going to be special, that first. And I'm telling you, a lot has happened in this year around identity upgrade and some other things. What happens in a year and why it takes a year? That's next week's episode. But let me get now to what does this mean for you? For the month of July, I am pulling Oracle, intuitive, beautiful card readings off the shelf, and they're coming out to play as a special offer for the month of July 2026 to celebrate the first anniversary of the Be Her Collective. And what this means is for the month of July, you can not only book a reading, but you also get the 222 bonus. What is that? That's 50% off, my friends. My readings are normally $444, but for the month of July, we're taking half of that off and you're getting the 222 bonus. But wait, there's more. Now, if you're jiggy with it, you got the memos, you will know that as of May, I have been channeling Sage and the Blue family. So Sage and the Blue family love to come down and work with me. They're very chatty. They're very sassy. They are here to be heard and engaged with. We only started together in May and they're already knocking on the door saying, when do we get to play next? So we go back to the beach. I'm at the beach on Tuesday morning, literally swimming, living my best life. And I hear Sage and the Blue family say, oh, yeah, by the way, we're coming to those readings. I was like, all right, then. So bing, bang, bong, my friends, the July 1st anniversary special is more than an intuitive card reading with me. You will also have the opportunity for your personalized channeling with Sage and the Blue family, which means you get to ask them direct questions and they, through me, will speak directly to you. I cannot wait to see what happens next. It is part of the new adventure for me. Working with Sage and the Blue family, working with this expanded knowing of my intuition. And how did I get here, my friends? Because I always listen to my intuition, even if it doesn't make sense. This is what we're doing, my friends. We are the intuitive heroines, which means we know our intuition is always directing us. It's always directing us towards expansion, new landscapes. And it's safe for us to follow because we're the heroines. We're the ones writing the next chapter in our stories. And we decide what happens next. We get to co-create with our intuition and the universe with curiosity, creativity, a whole heap of play, and some sass and some mojo and some street cred. Bring it, my friends, bring it. So what in your world needs to stop or start as a first step in your identity upgrade? I am sure your intuition has already been sharing that with you. And I, along with Sage and the Blue family, would love to meet with you one-on-one in July for your personalized reading and channeled session. For July only, for our first anniversary special. If that is tickling your fancy, then go to the show notes now and book yourself in. It's seriously for July only, because on the 1st of August, I'm on a jet plane flying south to see my beloved mother. So I will not be doing any card readings in August. But in July, if you are at the midpoint of your year with some curious questions, maybe you're looking for an identity upgrade, or there's something that you need to either start or stop and you just don't know how, then that is what you can bring to your reading. But for now, I want to say this. You already know. And so let's go. All right, my beloveds, next week I will be sharing about the first year of the Be Her Collective and why transformation, it takes about a year. That's coming up next week. For now, let's make sure we're listening. Let's start. Let's stop. Let's go.